Hey guys, today we are going to learn how to rig a 3D character using Cinema 4D. What is a rigging? A rigging is the process of preparing an object or a character for animation. To rig an object, you need to add bones and controls to it. This is what we are going to do now. We are going to add bones and controls on our object. Yes, let's open our Cinema 4D. Yeah, this is a Cinema 4D R21 version. Let's open our character. Open. Yeah, this is our character. You are seeing that our character is not on the surface. We need to move it on the surface. Let's go to the front view and change the position of our character to the surface. But before changing the position of our character, we need to remove this picture by opening option and configure back and check this show picture, the same as right view, option, configure back and check this. Then move your character to the surface. Yeah, this is the surface. The first step of adding bones in object is to use character tools. Open character and undock character tools on the screen and take joint tools and go to the front view and zoom in. Yeah, here we are going to add bones to the character, and here we have to start with hips. Hold Control and click, Control click, Control click, Control click. Let's go to the right side to check whether our bones are inside the body. Here you are seeing that it's not inside our body. Here we have to change the position of our body. Here let's remove the bones inside our body here like this, and you are seeing that the bones are separated with body. Then let's take body and use move tool and move it yeah, this is not bad. You have to make sure that here in the knees there is an angle. Now we are going to add another bones. Here Let's select our hip bones, and the hips start from here up to here. Hold Ctrl and click. You see that the joint is not connected with this. To fix this, go undo this and go to the joint tool and uncheck root null. Then here, when you hold Ctrl and click, you see that the bones are connected. This is the bones of hips. This is the bones of lower body. This is the bones of our upper body. This is the chest. Ctrl and click. This is the chest. This is the shoulder. Hold Ctrl and add upper arm. Hold Ctrl and add lower arm. Then let's add the hand. Let's check the side view. Okay, you see that the belly is in the front of our character. You have to move the bone here. Okay, this is correct. Like this. This can be good. Let's go to the top view and move our bones to the right direction. Make sure that here you keep the angle. Let's change the viewport to the perspective to check whether the bones are well oriented. Here, the bones must be inside the body. You have to keep a small angle between upper arm and lower arm. Yeah, you see that here there is an angle. Yeah, good. And here, from here, let's add other bones of chest. You have to make sure that root null is not selected, is not checked here. Then let's add the chest bone. This is the, let's use front view. Hold Ctrl and click. Hold Ctrl and click. This is the bone of the neck. This is the bone of the head. Ctrl and click. And let's check on side view to see whether the bones are in great position. This is our this is our chest. Have to move it. and this is the neck. The neck is like this, and this is the head. Yeah, this is the neck, this is the chest, and this and let's check here in the front view. Okay, let's check the top view. The important thing that you can check here for the side view, you can check whether here there is a small angle between upper leg and the lower leg. Again, for the top view, you have to check whether here there is a small angle between upper arm and the lower arm, and you see that here there is a small angle. Yeah, this is enough for us. And here for perspective, you have to check if your bones are inside the body. Make sure that there is the bones are inside the body, except for the knees. Here you see that the bones are not exactly in the middle of our body, because we need a small angle here. And also you are seeing that here for the arms, for between upper arm and the lower arm, we have a small angle. That's why we are still seeing the bones outside of the body. Yeah, don't worry about that. So now we are adding bones at one side of our body, because we don't need to spend our time in breeding a whole character bones. The only thing we need is to breed only one character. Then we will use the mirror tool to, it's like to clone the other side bones. The next step is renaming the joint or bones. The renaming part is successfully done. Now the next step is adding IK chains. IK chains help us to to move our leg. IK chain start from upper leg to the foot. That's why we are going to select left upper leg and hold Ctrl and click left foot, then go to the character tools and click create IK chain. Here you are seeing that there is a icon that is created here. This is the IK chain, and when you check this left foot goal, help us to move the bones. Yeah, let's go back. Okay, before doing anything, let's select all the parts except the body and go to the coordinate and open freeze transformation, enable freeze all, because we need to keep the position of all the parts of our body. That's why we are freezing layers. And here let's check our left goal. You see that it's moving in wrong way, but to keep our initial position you have to press PSR. You see that it's back to the position. But if you are not seeing the PSR on keyboard or on your interface, go to the window and go to the customization command, then and write type PSR. This is a PSR icons. Take these and move it wherever you want. You can move from here. You see that it is appearing. Great, guys. You are seeing that the IK chain is well created. You are seeing that the bones are well connected and it is working very well. Now when you press PSR, you see that the bones are back to the position. Great. Let's create another IK chain for the arms. Here we have to create the chain between the upper arm and the hands. Let's select left upper arm and the left hand, then go to the IK, create IK chain. See that the chain is added. So to check this chain, we have to use the left hand goal, which is automatically created after creating an IK chain of the left arm. To check this, select this left hand goal and check it. You see that the bone is moving. Let's freeze these two goals, coordinate and freeze all, to keep the position of these goals. And let's check the left hand goals. You see that the left hand goal is well prepared. And when you press PSR icon, it's back to the position. That's what we need. We've done with adding bones in body. So the next step is adding controls. adding controls. We are going to add the foot controls. We are going to create the foot control. Let's use the cube. Let's create a cube and reduce the size of our cube. Let's check the front side. Yeah, this is our controller, left leg controller. Let's change the display settings of this cube. Right click, go to the render tags and display tag. Use lines and change the display color of this cube. Click the cube and go to the basic display color on, then change it to the red. It can depends on your color of choice. Make it editable. We have to keep the shape of our leg. Let's use the rectangle selection tool and select this, then move it here. You can move this point somewhere around here. So this is our left foot controller, left foot controller. So another controller is a left toes controller. Let's duplicate this controller and move it in front of left controller and rename it left toes controller. Then here change the size of this controller, okay, we are going to use the point mode and pick select a rectangle selection tool and change the position of these points. Select this point and move it here around here. Okay, this is enough for us. Now we've done with creating the foot controllers. Now the next step is to change the anchor point of this controller. To change it, click the controller and make sure that you select this enable axis icon and move it to the and move it here. This the left toes controller again. must be in the same anchor point as left foot controller. Let's move it. Okay, this is enough for us. The next step, we are going to add a rigging constraint. Let's add the foot constraint here. For the foot, we need to add a rigging constraint. Right click and go to the rigging tag and add constraint. We need to enable PSR, position, scale and rotation. So let's go to our controller, left foot controller, and move it to the target here. Here it changed the position of bones. To fix this, you have to go to the offset and maintain original. It gets back to the original position. Okay, before we continue, let's keep our layers in the same coordinate by freezing all. So we are going to add another tag, rigging tag, on our toes. Right click here, rigging tag, constraint, enable PSR, keep original, maintain original. Make sure that position and the rotation is selected. So go back to the left toes controller and drag and drop here in the target. Now the controller, I think it is working. We need also left leg controller. To do that, we need to add to create a null object and rename it as a left leg controller. This controller is going to control every part of the leg. We have left foot controller, left toes controller, left foot goal. This is the left leg controller. This controller, the anchor point, its anchor point must be between foot and lower leg. Okay, we've done with creating the left leg controller. Now this is a parent, so let's take this left foot goal and make it a child of left foot controller, and this left foot controller must be a child of left leg controller, and also left toes controller must be a child of left leg controller, because this left toes controller is independent. It can't be under left foot controller. It must be an independent part of the leg. Yeah, that's why we are arranging this as this. So let's use our controller, left leg controller. Let's uncheck the enable axis icon, so you see that the bones are well rigged and it is well prepared. So now you can change the position of the foot. Yes, you see that the position, you can change the position of the foot. Again, you can change the position of okay, you can rotate the foot. You can rotate it, you see, you can rotate. Yeah, great. Let's go to the arm, and we are going to add a controller here. We need the controller here. Go to the left hand goal and go to the object and change it to the cube. Change the orientation to XY. You can change the radius. It can depends on your the size of a character. You can change the size of controller. Let's change the color. Go to the basic and display color on. Change it to the red because we are on the left side of our body. We need the bones of the other side on the right side. To do that, we need to use mirror tool. Before doing that, let's select all the body and go to the coordinate and freeze all. Now we are going to select all the left part of the body. Select all left parts. Left shoulder, left arm, left upper arm, left lower arm, left hand. This is the end of left arm, and we have to rename this left and arm. You have to make sure that everything in the left part of our body is selected. See that everything is well selected. And now open character tools and go to the mirror tool. Make sure that direction origin is word and option target must be cloned, and naming must be, because we need to make a right side of our body, we have to replace R and underscore with right underscore. So weight, we don't have to do anything with weight, and go to the tool and mirror all the part you've selected. Automatically you're seeing that everything is cloned to the other part of the body. Let's change the display settings of the right side here. Go to the basics and display color on. Select the green color, and also select the right side of our arms controller. It's here. This is the right hand goal, and select the color. Choose green color. Open. We have to change the right foot controller to make it green. Okay, perfect. The right toes controller to make it green. Perfect. Now we are going to add the hips controller the hips controller, the chest controller, the lower body controller, upper body controller, every controller, the neck controller and the head controller. Before doing that, we are going to bind our bones with the body. To bind it, we have to select everything here, starting from here to the body. Everything must be selected, and after selecting everything here, go to the character and bind. Yes, now the body is well binded. Now the body is binded, means the bones is combined with the body. You see this? Now you can move everything. You can move everything. You see that? Everything is moving. You can rotate the hands by rotating this hand goal, left hand goal. You see, let's check here. Let's check our legs, leg controller. See that everything is working good, is working. Everything is working now. Let's check the foot. We can check the foot. Left foot controller. Okay, see that. Let's go to the PSR of the foot. Let's use the rotation. You see that the rotation is working. Let's check the left toes. See that you can rotate. You can rotate the foot. Everything is working. So now let's add other controllers, the hip controller, the lower body controller, the upper body controller, the neck controller, the chest controller, and the head controller. Let's check the hips. Let's move the hips down. Okay, you see that our legs are crossing each other and our hands are not moving. our arms are not moving. So to fix this, we are going to add poles that will help us to control the knee of our body. To do that, let's go to the PSR and let's go to our IK chain for the right leg and go to the properties here, add pole. This pole, move it to the top of the layers. This will help us to move the leg, the direction, to change the direction of our leg. Let's go to the left, leg, IK chain for the left leg, and add pole here. This pole must help us to change the direction of our leg. Let's check the hips again. You see that the legs are crossing each other. To fix this, we use poles. When you move pole, you see that the pole helps us to move the knee of the leg. That's why we need poles. Let's select our poles and go to the coordinate and freeze all and move it in front of the knees and change the display settings of the poles. Change it to pyramid and change the orientation to XY. From here, we need to change the color settings. This must be red color. This is the red, and this must be green color. Now let's reduce the size of our icon. Go to the object and reduce the radius. Again, this must be around. Let's change this. So let's check our hips. When you move the hips, you see that now the legs are not crossing each other. This is perfect. Great. Yes, Sarah. Select all poles and go to the coordinate and freeze all. Now we are going to add poles between lower arm and the upper arm. To do that, you have to go to the arm IK chain, right arm IK, and add pole. Again to the left arm, add pole here. Then select this pole, the left pole and the right pole, and move it to the top. And let's change the position of the pole. Must be around here, And let's change the display settings of the arms pole. Display, change it to the pyramids, and change orientation to XY. Okay, now we are going to change the color of our controllers. This must be green. Basic, display color on, and change it to green. This must be red, on, change it to red. This is perfect. This is our poles. So let's customize our layers. The poles must be under controllers. This is the left leg controller. This is the left foot controller. The left leg pole must be a child's left leg controller. See? And the right leg controller, the right upper leg pole must be under left leg controller. The right upper leg pole must be under right leg controller. The same as hands. The right upper arm pole must be under the right hand goal, and the left upper arm must be under the left hand goal. Now everything is perfect. When we move the left hand, when you want to change the rotation of the hand, you can use the rotation tool, and you see, okay, you can change also the position of the pole. You see that the arm is changing. Okay. Okay, now let's select everything here. Go to the coordinate, freeze all, to keep everything in place. Now we are going to add the controller of the hips controller. Let's go to the front view and select and go to the spline and select cycle. This cycle is oriented on X and Y. Let's change it to the X and Z. Also, let's reduce the radius of our spline by 20, by 50. Yeah, this is a perfect. and move it to the right side, right position. This is our hips control. This is our hip control. Let's reduce the size again. We don't need a big controllers. 45 is enough for us. Let's change the display settings of this cycle. Object, basic, display color on. Let's change it to the blue. And to make it work, to make it perfect, we have to select the hip control. Where is the hip? This is the control, and add a rigging tag constraint. Open PSR and make sure that you maintain the original, but we don't need the hips to move its position. Okay, yeah, let's keep the position and the rotation. So set the target of the hips to this controller. This must be, and let's set hips controller as a target. Let's go to the constraint of the hips and set the target as hips controller. This means that the hips must change the position and rotation. Are we together? When we change the rotation of our hips, you see that it is rotating. Yes, let's add another controller of the belly or lower body. Okay, we can use this. Let's hold control and drag under this. This must be the lower body controller, and we have to go to the, but before doing anything we have to keep our controllers in position. To do that, you have to go to the coordinate and freeze everything here, and take this lower body controller, we have to move our controller to the right place. We have to move it to the lower body or the belly part. Use move tool and move it to the right place. Yeah, this is the right place. And go to the lower body, right click here, rigging tag, and add the constraint, enable PSR, maintain original, then set target to the left body controller. Make sure that because we need to rotate only this part, we don't need to move it to change their position. We have to uncheck the position, and here we can check our left body controller. in perspective, left body controller, when we rotate left body controller, you see that it is rotating. Now guys, let's add the chest controller. Yeah, let's duplicate this controller by holding Ctrl and rename it as chest controller. Yeah, this must be a body controller. There is no left body, you know. Must be lower body controller. And let's change the position of this controller, chest controller, in the right position. No, this is not the chest controller. This must be the upper body controller. This is the upper body controller, and this upper body controller, we have to add a constraint tag on it. Go to the upper body joint, right click on it and go to the rigging tag and add the constraint, enable PSR and maintain original. Make sure that you unchecked the position. So now set the target of this constraint as a upper body controller. Now everything is working. You can check it. See that the upper body, it can rotate the upper body of the character. Now let's add the chest controller by duplicating, hold Ctrl and duplicate this controller and rename it as a chest controller. Let's change the position of this chest controller. And let's go to the chest, add a rigging tag called constraint, enable PSR and maintain original, and make sure that you uncheck the position and set the target as chest controller. You see that the chest controller is working. You can rotate the chest. Great. And also let's reduce the size of chest controller. Go to the object and reduce the radius. 25 centimeter. Yeah, this is enough for us. Okay. Let's change the radius of upper body controller by to 30. Yeah, 30 is enough. Let's change it. And this is enough for us, I think. And let's change the radius of hips controller by 30 again. This is enough. So the next controller is the controller of the neck. The controller of the neck, let's duplicate these. Duplicate and call it neck controller and move it to the right position. And reduce the size of neck controller by 20 centimeter and make sure that it is placed inside the neck. You can move it. Let's move this. You can rotate this. Let's rotate. Let's move down. I think this can be good. This is the neck controller. To make it work, let's go to the neck joint and add a rigging tag constraint. Enable PSR, maintain original, and make sure that I think we don't need to. Okay, we can keep the position because keeping this position can stretch the neck. If you want the neck to be stretched, keep this position and bring this neck controller as a target of this constraint. Now everything is working. You can check the neck, the rotation of the neck. You see the neck is rotating. The neck is rotating and it can move. You can move the neck because we enabled the position as a constraint property. Yeah. Let's undo this and let's add a head controller. Duplicate this, rename this as head controller. place these in the right position. This is enough. And go to the head, add a constraint. Rigging tag, add constraints, and PSR maintain original, and make sure that you uncheck the position. Yeah, it depends on what you need. If you want a stretch and squashes, you can keep the position. If you don't need it, you can remove the position. Yeah, it depends on what kind of animation you need. Now let's keep both and set the target as a head controller here. Now the head can move. Head can move, can be rotated. Now, the last controller we are going to create is the character controller. We must have a character controller. To create a character controller, let's go to the spline and select the cycle. Let's go to the top view and go to the spline and select the cycle, and now we are going to change the radius of these by 100. This is enough. Oh, this is too big. Let's take 50. Oh, I'm going to add another splines. Let's use the spline pen. Change the settings of a spline pen. Okay, yeah, this is a good. This is a linear. We don't need to be any kind of spline except linear. Linear is good. Now let's draw our spline. We are going to draw a spline for the back, the direction of the back. Yeah, this is our first direction. This is the spline for the back direction, and here we can duplicate this by holding shift and change and rotate this. go to the model and rotate this. Rotate this on minus 90 degree. Duplicate this again, rotate this as minus 180 degree, duplicate it again and rotate it as 270 degree. This is enough for us. What we need to duplicate this cycle again and reduce the radius of it to be inside here, and select all the splines of this controller. Go to the spline and select spline union. You see that the controller is well created. This will be the controller of the body, and you can change the color of this controller as you need. Let's make it yellow. This is the controller of the body, character controller. Great. Now let's check everything. Let's start with hips controller. Hips controller. The hips is moving, but the other part are resting. So let's fix this. Lower body must be under hips. Upper body must be under lower body. Chest must be under upper body, and neck must be under chest, and the head must be under the neck. Let's change the position. You see that it's going with every upper you see that it is fixed. Now let's select everything and go to the coordinate and freeze all to keep them in place, and here now the hips must be under character controller. The left hand goal must be under character controller. The right hand goal must be under hand controller. The left leg controller must be under character controller. Everything must be under character controller, because we need to control everything. That's why we put every controller under character controller. See that now? Character is moving with everything. Great. PSR. Now when we move the hips, you see it goes with legs, but the hands, it's not changing the position. To fix this, we need to take every hand to be a child of hips. Now when we move the hip moves with the hands. Guys, everything here is perfect. This is what we call rigging. So next time we will learn the animation. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. See you next time.